John Danaher was using me as a body for some of his MMA rounds, getting him ready for a few of his last fights. And that really solidified that I'm happy to be retired.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I'm gonna need to dust off the old joints and everything, get back in there, man.
It's such a great on the guys like us that are, well into, we still want to do it. We never want to get hurt. I never want to get hit in the head. I want to take care of my brain. I want to take care of my joints, but I love it still.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna love it for forever.
Yep.
So for that to happen, I have to have guys like you and Sean and Tyson, and Victor.
Yep.
Where
they're gonna take care of you, man.
Yeah. And they do take care of you.
Yeah. And we're all there for the same reason,
It's awesome.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. All right, what do you got, Chin?
All right, wait. I have a question for Tim.
Oh, before you answer, I have a question too. Mm-hmm. So with the Israel-Iran stuff, what happened to Ukraine?
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah, I know it's still, but the news just decides we're good. This is the new trendy thing.
Don't get me started on the news. Like you're getting me fired up. Yeah, that's a completely. So the news, they just should take that. They have a sole purpose, which is to sell marketing.
Correct.
That is how their revenue works. Model. That's the business model. So for them to sell something, for them to sell ads, they have to have people tuning in. People tune in to fear. People tune in to drama. People turn into war and conflict. Yep. So the fresher, the newer, the scarier, the chance for escalation. Is America going to be dragged into this? Like the body's being dragged out. That's what they want.
That's what they want.
And it got boring.
Yep.
Drone warfare, trench warfare in Ukraine.
Yep. But it's still very going on.
100%. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Sorry, Jen. I forgot to ask that.
It's all good. So you mentioned the glove thing, right? You're in the middle of a fight.
Yep. Your Romero glove thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I always tell Brendan this. I feel like there's such an easy fix for that. Where how there's a glove and you do wrap the strap, right, with tape. Mm-hmm. But if you put that tape over the glove as well and onto your forearm,
you kind of do.
What?
They kind of do.
They kind of do.
It goes usually up to here. You're saying like up to there?
Yeah, but if you actually wrap it around your forearm to where it's on your skin and the glove, I think that would just solve that problem.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
I know that's what Brendan was saying too. Is it's not that often, but I believe that would actually just solve the problem. It's not even a big deal.
That duct tape on your arm hair would be pretty uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, I get that. Yeah. That's the one thing that I thought about, yeah.
And I don't know, the blatant glove grab, I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've seen it a few times in the UFC, but I mean...
It's very rare where they grab it.
It's more like that. Yeah, you guys are in a scramble and you just accidentally grab it. I get that, yeah.
But while we're speaking of UFC, because you trained with John. Were you at Jackson's when John was there?
I was his second fight and his first training camp with Rashad is when I was there.
So you're there during the heyday.
I was there.
And I keep trying to tell people, because I was there for his Gustafsson fight, and then right when I started, for the Ultimate Fighter, I was at Jackson's. And people, I always tell people, whatever you think about him as a person is whatever. But as far as a fighter goes, I've never seen anything like it.
No.
Never.
He, in the existence of humans, you could take anyone in recorded history, you lock them in a room with Jon Jones, and they have to fight for the death. Jon Jones walks out
every time, no matter who it is.
Francis Ngannou, I don't care who.
No, it doesn't matter.
Drop any name. Peak Jon Jones is going to beat anybody. Goliath,
the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't.
But he's not like us when it comes to like the training and the regiment and and having structure, but it works for him. Like that chaos kind of works. Don't get me wrong, he still put his hours in, but it was just different. And to me, like his mental fortitude, where I was a guy, if I was a little off here, I'm like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't train today, or oh man, I need to do this rep. It's going to count when I'm in the octagon. He wasn't like that.
Yeah,
he believed in his skills, even if he had a 2-week training camp.
Yeah, we got like the Bo Nickel and the Brian Stan on this end of the spectrum. And then on this end of the spectrum, you have the Cowboy Cerrone, we'll just call it on this scale of 1 to 10, cowboy down here and the perfection athlete over here. Counting every calorie, every minute of sleep, optimization of REM time during that sleep, how many training sessions they're going to have in a day, right? That's like the psycho perfect. And on this end, if something's off about the perfection of that camp, that is going to negatively affect their performance in the octagon.
Yep.
And then on this side, these guys are like hopping on a boat or hopping on a jet ski or sitting on a snowmobile. They're riding on horseback, throwing tomahawks at each other.
Not getting injured. Again, they
don't care about anything.
They don't care about anything.
They are getting injured.
Yeah, they're
drinking,
boys.
getting DUI on a boat and fighting a dude on the side.
I know.
And that cowboy grit thing, like no matter what happens in the ring or in fight camp, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're good.
Because they're just a regular day. Both are super important.
Yes.
Obviously, perfection is number 5.
Yep.
Where you have enough of that cowboy Jon Jones thing. And then if we could get a little bit of, I was an obsessive person off this side.
Yeah.
And I definitely had like the fight, but I was maybe like a 6 or a 7 on that scale. Jon Jones is like a 3 or a 4. He's definitely on this side, but he does real fight camps.
Oh yeah.
And he's training with Gibson and he's training with, like, he's getting all of the blocks checked, but he just cares a little less.
Yeah. It's what makes him super special.
It's a rare thing when you get that number 5.
Yep.
That perfect balance of both.
Yep.
It's a Randy Couture.
Oh yeah.
It's a Henry Cejudo.
Yep.
That's a Jose Aldo.
Yep.
That's an Anderson Silva.
Yep.
And they end up being the GOATs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, John just has that thing where I would stare. I'm like, because up all night and comes in and just beats the shit out of us. I'm like, God, I wish I had that. I'm freaking out because they didn't put kale in my juice. You know? Like, oh, my day's fucked. You know, it's like.
Yeah, he angered. I would like do, not that I did it often, but I'd get something. I'd like a takedown or a submission. That was the one and only time I would ever hit that again. And never would I see it another time. And it always happens in training. And I'm not saying that like great things happened in rounds between me and Jon Jones in training.
Yeah.
I'm saying that a moment where something went right for Tim Kennedy in a round never happened again.
He downloads the data. He's like, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we had a guy.
You like that moment, Tim.
Yeah, dude. I remember there was a guy in the gym. I forget his name. He passed away. Him and his brother were wild boys, and they're at Jackson's. And it was me, Orlovsky, some other big names, and then these brothers. And the one brother, I was like, God, look at his energy. Look at what is he doing? And Winkle John was like, cocaine, bud. It's called cocaine. There's no pre-workout that's gonna make
big
like
corn-fed white guy. Yeah, what was his name?
He passed away.
Yeah.
And his brother was a wild boy too. His brother came to the UFC, but they're just wild. But he was doing, which we weren't supposed to do, like he kept doing spinning back fist over and over and over. And me, Orlovsky, and these other guys were like, what the fuck? And he's kind of landing stuff. And he's just awkward, couldn't get him down. And then John goes in there. And we told him, like, hey, be careful, man. He's throwing all this stuff. And he goes, I got it. And just beat the shit out of the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. And just did his thing off probably 2 hours of sleep.
I only got two fight camps with Rashad at the gym. I love
Rashad.
I love him
Trained
too.
with him for a long time.
Almost fought him at Madison Square Gardens. I would have loved to have fought him. Loved him as a training partner.
He was the best.
He was great. He also, when you arrive in a new place, first time I got to Jackson's, took me under the wing. Very first meal I had there was with him. He's like, no, come eat with me. And then we went out to Santa Fe. We got, the vitamin enriched IV bags as a recovery. He's like, no, here's a great massage place. They hook us up with
He's
great.
the best, man.
Yeah, it was great. They didn't need to do any of that stuff.
Rashad, though, was the reason I made it the Ultimate Fighter because I was training with him. So he's the one who gave me that freaking golden ticket. And then when I first came to Jackson's, I stayed at Don Cerrone's house with him and Leonard Garcia. And Donald was just like, Mr. Jackson's, and just let me stay at his house, took me under his wing. Like Cowboy's one of those guys you can rely on.
Yeah.
Cowboy's one of those guys.